Next, we have the class of 1966 representatives. It's the 50th reunion, so that's pretty special. Helene Blackman Herman and Elizabeth Young Bachelder. And they... Oh.
Wow. Yeah. Can you help? Hello? I need a man. Make sure we get this right. Okay. And the difference a few years make is we are a little more technological. Okay. Well, let me get back to my... So, first of all, welcome on behalf of the very noisy Gardner High School class of 1966, a class that bonded in sisterhood before sisterhood had a name. And our adolescent experiences still unite us in spirit over distance and over 50 years. And tomorrow, almost 100 of us will reunite once more at the Cornell Club. Hunter girls then, and Hunter girls forever. Now we know 1966 was a very different time in America. Miniskirts and go-go boots and the Beatles and the Stones and the sexual revolution and the peace movement. But women had very little choice in any matter regarding our lives and our bodies. And the glass ceiling was more like concrete. Women couldn't get credit in their own name. It'd be Mrs. So-and-so. Couldn't get, if you got a car, okay, you couldn't get car insurance unless your father or husband or brother signed for you. New York Times Help Wanted ads, Help Wanted male, Help Wanted female, and of course we were expected to type. The world, society told us no, but Hunter never told us no, we couldn't, except wearing pants and taking typing. I recall an upperclassman telling me she couldn't get to take typing during the summer because she was told by the guidance department that you'll have your own secretary. Secretary, what's that? I don't know what they are anymore. Okay. But we learn to learn. We learn to listen. We learn to lean in, to make our voices heard, to speak up and to speak clearly, and never, never to dentalize. The times they were changing in 1966. The war in Vietnam was escalating. 500,000 troops on the ground. And the voices of protest were heard in the land, voices that started with the civil rights movement, started to be heard in other areas as well. Yet in the revolution, women were still relegated to making posters and making coffee. I remember that. The women's movement was just starting. I have a great factoid if you're ever on Jeopardy. The women's movement was just starting, and on Thursday, June 30th, 1966, right after graduation day, the National Organization of Women was founded. But many of us sheltered in Hunter's hallowed halls didn't get it. I mean, we were the best and the brightest. We had no idea of what it was like out there in the world where women were second-class citizens. What lay outside was a rude awakening. But we were Hunter girls, and we are still Hunter girls. And we persevered, and even when we didn't overcome the barriers, we still tried our best to knock them down. Inspired by a truly great education, many of us became educators. We were so fortunate to have great teachers who taught us not just to memorize or pass standardized tests, but to think, to question, and create. And by the way, greetings from Irving Kisner, who is on. If anybody wants his email address, I got it, and he is on the internet. I mean, it's fabulous. So let's hear it for the educators we had, and the educators so many of us became, from elementary school teachers to college professors to university deans to guidance counselors, department heads, school administrators, all dedicated to education and making a difference to those who came after us. We were at the forefront of turning that concrete ceiling to glass and breaking through whenever and however we could. Now, our math and science departments produced mathematicians, scientists, engineers, technologists, thank you, technologists, I love you, and quite a large number in the medical field. A lot of doctors, a lot of nurses, a lot of support staff. It was fantastic, and math was not my forte. That was never my forte. And in 1966, we sent, I was amazed, I still brag about it, we sent 2 16-year-old seniors to MIT in '66. And today, I'm just fabulous back then. Today, I'm amazed at the number of technologists in our class, but then Hunter taught us to think ahead, and ready girls, to figure it out, to figure it out. Though as Nancy Burek is one of our technologists can attest, it takes them more than half the night to figure it out these days. Our English, social studies, foreign language, and speech departments influence a class of writers, lawyers, historians, business leaders, and other polysyllabic women in a monosyllabic world. And by the way, I'm still waiting for my AP English, AP European History paper on how corruption ruled England in the 1720s, and thank you and rest in peace, one of my favorites, Mr. Slauson. We learn to speak and we learn to debate, and included in the 127 database. I have 127 classmates on our class database. We have one New York State Supreme Court justice who went to judge school to learn how to be a judge, Laura. You tell me that. And a large number of attorneys. So if you have a problem with, if our doctors have a problem with malpractice, we have a lot of attorneys. Music, art, and drama. And we're so grateful for those classes and memories of creative activities, like making gloves of Juco cement in Miss Rosso's art class. And we didn't stick the glue, we just rubbed it all over our hands where we're supposed to be doing art projects and then peeled it off. And that was Linda Shostak, who was our senior class president, and Esty Dunow, who was the vice president, and they were the leaders of that. But seriously, I mean, we were really privileged to have a true liberal arts education, producing actors, one who's on her way from London to get here tomorrow, musicians, artists, and others in the creative fields, but alas, no Pulitzer Prize or Tony Award winners yet. We're still kicking, guys. We learned to care about each other and the world and our bodies, even if we had to suffer with those insufferable gym suits. And I recall lying on the cold surface of a 7th floor gym in the old building and learning breathing techniques for relaxation in junior year. I still use those today. I still use those yoga in 1965. That's how progressive we were. But physical education was about more than gym. Talk about progressive. It was also, we had sex ed, and in 1966 you didn't have sex ed, and some of us should have paid a little better attention. We also had an introduction to psychology. I think it was called mental health. And I was introduced to Gordon W. Allport, who wrote a seminal book called The Nature of Prejudice, and that affected my life and affected my whole career in cultural anthropology and global marketing. Many of us pursued careers in the social sciences. Social work, public advocacy, psychology, women who dedicated their lives to helping people and helping society. Not all of us have high-powered resumes, and some of us have hit personal bumps along the way. But at the core, Hunter shaped us in so many ways. When life threw us curves, when we faced adversity, when we faced or continue to face health, economic, personal, or career challenges, we understood perseverance and hard work. After all, we dealt with a grueling and highly competitive academic schedule, figuring out the 42nd Street Library, all those extracurriculars, and schlepping in from the outer boroughs for many of us, or just getting the crosstown bus to get to a library in the pouring rain. And those of us who chose to devote our lives to personal pursuits to their family did it as Hunter girls and did it with achievement and fortitude, with the gleam of glory's goal in every eye. Whether we raise children, raise animals, raise consciousness, raise the bar, or simply raise hell. We did it with inspiration and creativity and a great vocabulary. Good, better, best, never let it rest until the good is better and the better best. And long ago, we've had debates about this, and it was either our 10th reunion or our 20th, I think it was both. We struggle to recall anything. We were shushed. We were shushed by those who ran it and those of the audience. Well, we are the milestone class, the class of 1966. We are noisy, we are loud, we are proud, we learn to speak up, and we will not be shushed. And before I introduce Liz Bachelder, who will help us do our senior song, we have a very important announcement from Deborah Gardner and Claudia Justy. And if you call time, you're not going to get the money. Go ahead.
That have been laid out, we are also being generous. This year we have raised over $20,000 to the Alumni Association to fund all those student projects and activities that you saw earlier today. We're giving the money to honor our teachers. We've all discussed this. One of them is here, Peggy Perrin, who taught us 7th grade English. And we also want to give it in honor of our parents, who one of our classmates pointed out had the courage to put us on the trains and the buses to come to this wonderful school, just as parents continue to do today.